I am Morgan J, also known as Kitty Clash. Today is the 28th day of hiding, year 26, and I want to give my thoughts on the latest installment in the Void Within plot. I thought I would do a video about this today because this seems to be another dialogue-heavy installment. So I'm going to click on Fiora, and it says, Balia, Nyx, Tavi, Junie, Luxinia, glad to see you are both well. Queen Fiora, we have no time for pleasantries. Kiko Lake and all its inhabitants have been attacked. Its color drained. Oh, she looks unhappy. Look at her eyebrows. King Altador says, it is as we feared. Clearly, this threat looms over more than just a handful of lands. No, this is an act of war on all of Neopia. Queen Fiora, based on their trajectory, we believe they are heading towards Neopia Central. Oh no, not Neopia Central. That's where a bunch of people have their classic Neo homes because it was like cheaper to build there than anywhere else. So, Nick says, Neopia Central? Junie, yep. Queen Fiora, many of the defenders of Neopia are now gray, and the rest are battling the shades in Meridel and Brightville. Balia, we need your help. You may be the only one who can stop this gray. Balia, I love how they draw her. Like, she just looks so, like, she looks kind of like extremely out of it. Like, she's like sleep deprived, hasn't slept in like 36 hours. But at the same time, she looks confused and shocked. I don't know, there's just a chronically exhausted vibe from her. So Balia says, Tavi says, don't worry, Bee. I'll be right beside you. Luxinia says, and she will have my support, my queen. Does anyone know who she's from? I think she might be from one of their, like, mobile apps or something. But I don't recognize her from, like, any on-site Neopets event. And Queen Fiora says, Nyx, Junie, whatever you. Nyx, I'm here to find my brother, whatever it takes. Junie says, yep. Oh my gosh, Junie is so cute. He looks so cute. Just look at the face. The face, the way he's holding his paws to his face. It's just cute. Cute, cute, cute. And Queen Fiora says, I see. And where did you last see him? Nyx says, we had a small hovel in Neopia Central, across the way from Uni's clothing. His name is Ozzy. He's small, shy, and always scared. Adorable, actually. I have to get back to him as soon as possible. He hasn't heard from me in weeks. He must be worried sick. Wow, a small hovel in Neopia Central. That's what most people have. Like, I'm just saying, that was like the cheapest place to buy a Neo home. I think it was like 1,000 Neo points for land there. Mr. Island was second cheapest. So a lot of people probably, if they played the site many years ago, they probably have like a couple of cardboard rooms and a place in Neopia Central. So I like how that feels relatable to the Neopets experience. And Queen Fiora says, we will find him, but for now, we must concentrate on the safety of Neopia. Your experience with the Void could prove invaluable. Help us defend the people of Neopia Central first, including your brother, and you have my word that we will help you find him once the dust settles. Nyx, deal. Tavi, guess that makes us a team, eh? Junie, yep. Queen Fiora, excellent. Our waylaid friend here will take you to Neopia Central. Due to an accident at the Library, he has grown enormous. Not what we were intending, but useful nonetheless. Please, leave at once. And the Walline wait, the Walline? Is Walline a type of pet? It says, woo! I don't know how to say that. I think of a Walline. It makes me think of a beluga. So I don't really know how to do a whale sound very well. More like, woo! I don't know. It's my best attempt at that dialogue. Tavi says, somehow, enormous still seems like an understatement. Luxinia, Pauline! So wonderful to see you again! Balia says, and he's, safe to ride? Luxinia, you've nothing to fear. Despite his size, Walline here is a huge softie. Is that its name? I thought that was the species of pet. Is that its name as well? Nyx says, let's get moving. If Neopia Central is next, we need to get there as soon as we can. Oh my! Kiko Lake has been attacked! Rise to the occasion and help defend the lakeside community from shades! Report into the reserve barracks or lend a hand at the volunteer center. I wonder if these are unlocked for me now because they weren't earlier in the day. I kind of wanted to talk about some of the earlier story installments. I forget where I left off here. I guess I'll start from the beginning of chapter 4. We had the dialogue of Dr. Landelbrot being like, at last we have enough void essence, wrench please. And Nyx is like, please doctor, please save Junie. And Dr. Landelbrot is like, I believe we were closing in, but this void dampening process is highly complex. Wrench? And Skintily is, bzzzt, wrench incoming, estimated arrival in 3 seconds. And Dr. Landelbrot says, almost there, not quite, confound it. Although it pains me to admit it, I may require a fresh pair of eyes to help me finish the initialization. And Skintily is like, technology is beyond our scope, requesting assistance from outside operators. And if I remember right, was that the day that that awful plot stop released? The problem with it is, like, I got it wrong the first day, and so I'm, like, apparently locked out of the achievement that you're supposed to be able to get for that because I didn't get it right. And, like, it won't, like, the time that I tried to play it again, it didn't give me the achievement. So, like, I think I'm locked out of that, and it's really frustrating, and I hope TNT fixes whatever that is, because I think it's really unfair to have it be like, you have to do this the first time, like, you have to get it perfect the first time you ever played the game, essentially. Like, I think that's so broken. And for chapter 4, page 2, we had Skintily examining Nyx's arm, and Dr. Landelbrot saying, and how long did you say you two were trapped inside this terrible and fascinating realm? Oh, and that's the poor little Valley. That's poor little Junie. It looks like Junie is wearing, like, to me, that looks like it's just a mask. Like, I don't see a tube or something that would hook it up to, like, oxygen. Like, it looks like it's just a mask. It couldn't have been more than a few days, week at most, I think. Guess I lost count somewhere along the way. Like, I don't know, I'm just thinking, like, if it was meant to be a respirator, I would imagine some sort of, like, I'd imagine it would be hooked up to an oxygen tank or something, but I'm not entirely sure. To me, it looks more like just a mask with a cutout in it, like, or a contrasting material at the front. King! So that's someone messing with some, are those screws or nails? Because it looks to me more like a nail, but he's holding a screwdriver. And then a wrench adjusting some, like, bolts. Okay, to be perfectly honest, like, fancy medical equipment is something that I'm not, like, qualified to be, I guess I'd say, like, dissecting or breaking down. Like, maybe this is an entirely different tool that I just don't know what it is. And also it's Neopets, so who knows? Who knows if the technology is always true to a real-life equivalent. And Dr. Landelbrot says, voila! And then Junie looks, I don't know if Junie looks better there or not. But on page 3, Dr. Landelbrot is like, well, that was close. I thought I was going to have to zap you with my nanometric transcombobulator. Probably not a good idea. And Nyx is like, what the heck? Like, she just has this red, like, these red marks that are supposed to, like, indicate that she's, like, shocked or upset or like, alarmed. And then, little Junie seems to be doing better, because Junie went from being, like, sad frowny face to having, like, one eye open, and it says whoosh. Wait, it's like a whoosh out of this little pink thing? This thing on its collar. And Nyx says, Junie, you're okay! And Junie's like, yep! Aww. And Nyx is holding Junie in a hug, and that's just the cutest thing. That's just so cute! That's so cute. Oh my gosh, that's just so sweet. It reminds me of my... we used to have a cat named Junie. And Junie says, yep, and has its little paw on Nyx's chest. And Nyx is like, oh, this? Dr. Landelbrot made this for me. It helps me contain the residual void essence I carry. And Dr. Landelbrot says, I could not have done it without the help of the citizens of Neopia, and more importantly, by studying your work, Junie. I still do not have a full understanding of this technology. What you have created is remarkable. And Junie's like, yep, and looking away, kind of. I don't know what its expression is. If it's like, no, poo-poo, you don't have to thank me. Or if it's more like, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what Junie is supposed to be expressing there. And Nyx is like, haha, Junie thinks you're, oh, it's a disgust then. Because Junie thinks your void dampener is ugly. And Skintilily's like, haha. And Dr. Landelbrot just looks unamused. And then the next page is page 5. And we have Nyx saying, thank you for everything. I kind of like doing the chapters more like this because it feels a little bit more linear if I'm doing a video where I'm breaking them all down in like one video. I don't really like the whole releasing each page, one page at a time, essentially, because it does feel a little bit disjointed, like when I'm just going from like one comic to the next a few days later. Nyx says, thank you for everything. And Skintily says, bzzzt, a visitor has arrived. Okay, that I believe is, yeah, I think that's the Library Faerie. Something about her head looks different than usual. Okay, something about her head, the way that they draw her hair makes it look like she has a pointy skull. And I don't know if that's something that has always been a design choice with her, or if, I don't know. Oh, also she has, it looks like she's wearing kind of like braces for her arms, kind of like, it's like attached to her forearm, but she's also holding on to them with her wrists. So this looks to me like a sort of mobility device. It kind of reminds me of crutches, maybe? Or like, I'm not entirely sure what the exact word for this particular mobility device is. So yeah, like I'm trying to, like, it is very strange to see like disability representation in Neopets, to be honest. Like, I get that we have, I think Hannah and the pirate, no, it's Hannah in the ice caves. We had Hannah get, we had her get cursed with something that like couldn't really be cured with magic. So I get that like there is, I don't know, it's like typically when there's like long-term health issues in Neopets that can't be cured by like the Healing Springs Fairy, it tends to be based on like some sort of curse. Typically, I guess another example would be, I guess this is a terrible example because she's already in the plot, so like everyone already knows her. But Balia is like permanently gray, and there doesn't seem to be a fix for that. And I guess like there's the curse where Jazan and his entire city were like undead for a long period of time. But that got fixed somehow by him marrying someone, which is really weird because Neopets like always had this thing of like, no, you can't have roommates on the side at all. But then in one of the plots, they literally had like Nabal marry Jazan. So like there has occasionally been things like pets getting sick or seriously injured or whatever, but it is a little bit still strange to see like representation of like physical disability for which there would be a real life counterpart in Neopets, because they were so very not having any representation for a long time. So I don't know, it's kind of cool, but also it's like this question of like, does like, I want to know how they're gonna explain it lore wise, because usually like if your pet gets sick, like you just go to the Healing Springs Fairy and it will eventually get healed. So it is a little bit confusing to me, like what is the lore going to be for a fairy having a condition that can't magically go away with magic? Like, I'd love to see more development about that. Like, I'd like to know what is the explanation for this? Like, is it, like, I don't know, like, do fairies have conditions? Like, I guess when I see her, like how she looks, the first thought to me would be something like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So I'm like, can fairies get that? Like, if that's true, that would be cool. Like, I don't know, like, I'd like to see Neopets maybe give an explanation for it. But at the same time, like, how do I put this? I do feel like oftentimes, like, there will be like characters who they clearly are meant to represent a disability, but then the creators of the media will just like not ever tell people what that disability actually is. So I don't know how I feel about that. Like, an example I could think of would be like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory is very, very obviously coded to be autistic. Like, I'm autistic and I clearly understand that a lot of his quirks, like when he, like there's this episode where he's like literally color coordinating one of his friend's closets and asking like, do you want it coordinated by like color or by season or whatever? It's like, yeah, I like that desire for that sort of order is something that I very heavily relate to. Like I don't know, there's so many little things that he does that just make me think of me. So it's like, I know that sometimes in media there are characters who the authors or the writers won't frickin' say that they have this disability, but they actually have a disability. So I don't know. I understand that Neopets might choose to go down that route and not actually say like, oh, the Library Faerie has this, the Library Faerie has that. And I think there are pros and cons to that, because if there are people with multiple disabilities who are relating to the character, then maybe not saying what that character has can make it more relatable. But on the other hand, I think there's also value in being like, oh yeah, like if I have a condition and I see another character with that condition, then I'll be like, oh my gosh, representation, that's so cool. So I don't know, I'm really, like, I'm kind of not entirely sure, like, which would be preferable. But I think with Neopets, they're probably not going to say exactly what she has. But I guess my first thought would be maybe something like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, because that's a condition where a lot of people with it end up relying on mobility aids at least some of the time. That would be my immediate thought. And the Library Faerie says, I'm assuming you two are Nyx and Junie. Queen Fiora requests your presence immediately. Aw, Nyx is holding Junie. That's so cute. 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 They're just the cutest. Aw. Something about the Library Faerie's face looks, I don't know. Has it always been this pointy is my question. Like, has it always been this pointy? Something about the way her face is. Something looks different. Did they change her hair? Okay, I'm gonna go to Fairyland real quick. I want to see, because I thought she used to look different. Okay, where is the bookshop? No, she's always... Okay, she did have the pointy chin before. But I guess her... Okay, we can't see the top of her head here. So maybe it has been this pointy for a while, but it's just cut off by the top of the screen there. Okay. Okay, let me go back to the thing. So yeah, I guess she does look similar. I think it might just be that the top of her head is cut off in the bookshop. Okay, and the Library Faerie says, we found new information about this mysterious void energy through notes scribbled in an ancient book buried deep within our archives. Okay, so in this frame we can see the bottom of her mobility device, and it appears to have some sort of, like, how do I describe it? Like, almost like a rubber bottom. Okay, which makes, like, okay, that makes sense. So it's, okay. I'm not entirely sure what I'm expecting them to look like. I don't know, I just think it's nice to see a frame that has like the full detailed look of what the entire mobility device looks like. So maybe people who are more like, who use similar mobility devices will be able to chime in and be like, oh yeah, I use this, or whatever. Like, that would be helpful. And maybe also, like, if anyone ever decides to cosplay her, like, that would be really useful to know what the entirety of the mobility device looks like. She is wearing purple ballet flats type shoes. And she has buttons all down the front of her skirt. I don't know, she has a very, I guess that makes sense. She has a very librarian look to her. That sounds redonkulous. That sounds ridiculous when I'm saying, oh, she has a librarian look. She's like the library fairy. She runs the bookshop. So that would make sense. That would make sense. Isn't there like a Lenny from the Altadorian archives? How come we don't have him show up too? So, or is he too busy teaching classes on underwater basket weaving? Oh, the book looks like it's got like a blue swirly thingamabob. And it kind of looks like a Moroccan whirlpool to me. And it's edged with like gray. Okay. And the book has a bunch of symbols in it that are like red. Like there looks to be a gemstone. There looks to be a tentacle. There looks to be like a tear. There looks to be the letter O. There looks to be like a snake type creature. Maybe like a reptilor? I can't remember the name. There's some pet that looks kind of like a snake. And then there's this like magnified area that says MKAN space XSS. I don't know what that stands for. I really don't know what this is supposed to represent. And there's a bunch of like scribbles and like brownish text. Okay. And then someone says off screen, it's probably the Library Faerie based on the previous panels, says, we should not leave the queen waiting, come both of you. And then this is today's dialogue, or maybe it was Luxinia speaking. So yeah, I guess that's like all caught up story-wise. Like I'm excited. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about the lighting here. We have sunlight coming in from a window, which is creating some weird effects here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see, like, finally see the Library Faerie showing up, because she was mentioned in a press release, the one on like representation, like earlier this summer. So like I'm really excited to finally see her showing up, which is really cool. I don't know. You have to understand, I'm very vehemently anti-fairy because I'm team Xandra. Xandra should have won. And so even though it's like, I kind of like the Library Faerie now. She's a lot, like, I don't know, she feels more human than hitherto. At the same time, it's like, I still think Xandra should have won. So I have to have like a level of bigotry towards all fairies. A level of hatred towards all fairies. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm liking how this actually seems to be having some sort of development. Like I really am excited to see whoever Nyx's brother is. I really want it to be like a tie-in with Alienatia's with their vending machine. Like I really would like that. I hope that the plot gets a little bit less chore-like over time. Like it really feels like a lot of the times now it's like, ugh, I gotta go do my battledom. Ugh, I've gotta go do the daily void essences. I have to go volunteer my pets again. And it's just getting to the point where I'm starting to get freaking sick of it. So I really hope that they have like more variety with the tasks soon. So yeah, thank you for listening to, I guess I'd say like my complaints and my commentary on the Blade Within plot. Again, today is the 28th day of hiding, year 26. And I hope you have a great day. Bye!